Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon affiliate site in the health and fitness niche. The site makes right around $2,000 per month in net profit, and the listing number on this one is 40353. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller Ryan with us to go through this business today and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Cool, no problem.
All right, buddy. So let's do a quick summary of the business. It was built in June 2014. The monthly revenue on this one is $2,012 a month. That's a 3-month average. Got expenses coming in at $29 a month, and net profit right around $1,900 a month. Actually, just under $2,000, $1,983 in net profit per month. It was built on WordPress, and we're using a 26x multiple. So that's 26 times the net monthly profit. Does that sound about right?
Yep, sounds good.
Cool, man. Well, let's get this started by having you tell us a little bit about your background in building sites and running online businesses. I mean, how'd you get into this whole thing?
Sure. So, I've been in this space kind of on and off ever since I was at school, really. So a good 7-8 years. Basically started off building AdSense sites on the side, just trying to make a bit of extra money when I was at college. And then that developed to some client work, some web design work. And even though I've had a number of jobs since I left school, I've always basically been doing SEO, doing affiliate stuff and things on the side just to make some extra money. And then, for the last couple of years, basically been doing that full-time in the affiliate SEO space.
Cool. I like building assets over client work, right? I mean, you got to get on the phone with the client. They're like taking up your time when you could be building out your business. It's nice to kind of build your own assets and properties that make you money.
Yeah. The client work was good for getting some upfront cash, kind of quick cash to invest in these kind of things. But yeah, other than that, the affiliate side's definitely a lot more hands-off.
Gotcha. So how did you get into this particular niche? Like, what got you started? Did you have some interest, or did you just see an opportunity?
Yeah, so the reason I got into this particular niche, it started off mainly focusing on health and fitness, specializing in workouts. Really, that's always been interest to me. I've always been fairly active and interested in different strategies for staying in shape and things like that. So basically, it just started off with me purchasing. I've purchased a number of fitness courses over the years that I've gone through, and I thought, well, why not write reviews and try and actually promote the ones which I felt were useful. So that's basically where I started. I kind of found I was able to write reviews that were maybe a little bit more helpful than a lot of the stuff that was out there online, because unlike most people, I'd actually gone through the product and kind of used it.
Yeah, a lot of it's crap, right? A lot of the content out there is just kind of crappy, and you can tell that the person either wasn't involved in it or didn't try it out at all, and it's just like a total affiliate like copy and paste job.
Yeah. There's definitely some room for that, and those kind of reviews can do well too. But it definitely does come through if it's a person that can actually talk about things that only someone that's used the product would know.
Let's talk about how the site makes money. I mean, for anyone that's new to this, or it's kind of their first site they're looking to purchase, this site makes its money through both ClickBank and Amazon Affiliate. Amazon Affiliate is where you write a bunch of content and then you put links to Amazon. People click through those links and go buy products from Amazon. They give you an affiliate fee. You get a small percentage in commission, and it's very similar for ClickBank as well. What's the breakdown? Does it get like half its money from ClickBank? 80%, 20%?
Actually, the vast majority is ClickBank. I would say over 90% is ClickBank for sure. That's how I started off. As I mentioned, it was specifically started with the courses that I'd gone through and a few others that were reputable. And then I added Amazon kind of fairly late to the game, but I haven't really added a lot of Amazon content. So I know we're going to go off over opportunities later, and that's definitely a big one. But at the moment, it's mostly ClickBank.
So you added Amazon probably to diversify a bit. You want to get like different types of earnings in there. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and because the authority of the domain is a strong age domain. And I thought, well, maybe it'd be an easy way to pick up some fairly simple rankings for product reviews and things like that. So I tested a few of those out, and that turned out to be true.
All right, Ryan, let me ask you, the first question I know buyers have on their minds is, why the hell are you selling the site? Why don't you keep it? Why don't you continue running it? Why don't you continue growing it yourself?
Yeah, sure. Good question. Basically, I'm kind of slowly moving away from SEO and more towards paid advertising. So at the moment, I'm kind of in the process of setting up an agency that's going to be specializing in some Google AdWords, a lot of Facebook advertising. So I'm looking to invest heavily in kind of bringing in leads and clients for that. But also, I'm going to use that same skill set, Facebook advertising skill set, to launch some e-commerce projects, which I'm working on right now. And those are kind of fairly complex and need some upfront cash. So that's the main reason that I'm selling, is to invest in e-commerce, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. So paid traffic strategy is different. No, I mean, it's going to take some cash up front before you start seeing a return on that. It doesn't take too long, but any e-commerce business is definitely cash heavy, right? It's going to take quite a bit of cash up front because you need to source the items, inventory, you need to bring it over. And then even when you do start selling, let's say you crush it, right? You're going to have to order more inventory. You have to order a lot more inventory. So all your profits go back into that. So early on, those can be cash sinks for sure. All right, so
Yeah, definitely.
all right, so we got an idea on why you want to sell the site. Let's talk about the history. Now, it was built in June of 2014. Can you tell me a little bit about like the trajectory of the site? Like, was it an instant winner? Did it take a couple of weeks or a couple of months to kind of build up? I mean, how long did it take to start making some real money with the site?
Yeah, sure. So the reason I first bought it was the sites I was working on at the time, I was trying to attack this fitness market, and it's obviously pretty competitive. And I was just building these sites out from brand new, registering the domain, and kind of struggling to get any traction. So I thought, well, why don't I, invest some money in a really strong domain that has some good links, and see if I can basically bring that back to life, build a new site on it, and use that authority to, rank for these competitive keywords. So that was basically why I bought it. I bought it at auction for a fairly decent sum, and then built the site out on it. Instantly, I could start seeing a long tail traffic come through. So it definitely kind of got traction quicker than my brand new sites that I was starting. So I thought, okay, this has definitely got some legitimate power. So most of the content I was producing, I've started focusing on this domain, and it picked up traction pretty quickly. And just with on-page SEO, it was able to pretty much land on page 2 or 3 straight away, and then gradually move up over time for some pretty good keywords. And now a lot of them are on page 1.
So was this an expired domain that you purchased? So did you use a service, or did you go find it yourself? How did that work?
Yeah, I bought it through TV Solutions, which is a fairly high-end domain broker. They price their domains, definitely a lot more than you'd see on any of the other marketplaces out there. So they're not just kind of scraping expired domains and things like that. And they kind of have their portfolio, which they basically registered and keep until someone wants it. So I paid $400 for the domain a couple of last June or July 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just based on the link profile that the domain had.
Okay. So let me ask, was this the first time you'd done that? So previously you were just buying brand new domains and you weren't messing with seasoned domains, I'll put it. Was this the first time you did that? And you said you were a bit surprised by the success?
Yeah, because there's definitely different ways you can use these aged and kind of authority domains. Usually I was using them mostly for PBNs for a little while, which I never really got into that much. And they were having, some success and pick up a little bit of traffic, but, they were fairly cheap, maybe $30-$40 or something. So I thought, well, why don't I just, invest the money, buy something that's, way more than I've spent on a single domain before, and basically just see how it goes. And the worst case scenario would be that I get a really strong domain that I can link from. But, it picked up pretty quickly, and the investment was definitely worth it. So I, quickly started using that as the main money site.
So that sounds like a nice win, kind of an unexpected win. Did you have any, while you're building out the site, did you have any unexpected losses, something you tried and just, didn't work out the way you'd hoped, or, end up having to change your direction, anything like that?
Yeah, actually. So in February of 2015, towards the end of February, the main affiliate program, which I was promoting, actually just shut down completely out of the blue.
Oh, yeah.
And it was literally almost to the day where I basically was number 1 in Google for the program name just below the official site. So things were just starting to blow up, and it just shut down. They said they are having loads of affiliates that were email spamming and stuff like that, and they just couldn't release it. So basically, I was getting all this targeted fitness traffic for an affiliate program that was no longer basically paying out, and that's almost a year ago now. So basically, I just started, recommending other products on the site, using banners, linking people to other reviews and articles and things like that. And that's, where a lot of the ClickBank is coming from now, promoting different fitness products from from this traffic that's for a couple of other reviews.
That's crazy to me. Like, did you reach out to the company directly and say, "Hey, you may not want to lose this. Here's why," or were you just like, "I'm out"?
Yeah, I tried everything, but those guys, I'm not sure what happened, but they just kind of went off the grid.
Wow.
The product's still selling. It's getting a lot of traffic because the site still ranks really well for it, gets loads of traffic for it. And I mean, I tried to tell them that, I'm just using your traffic basically to sell other programs now.
Yeah. Wouldn't you rather have me selling your pro?
Yeah.
I think it's probably now I'm just guessing here, but my guess is that especially if they're not like huge. My guess is that they were like, look, we're probably getting most of this traffic from ourselves anyways. Why are we giving these affiliates all this extra money when we could just be earning it for ourselves? Blah blah blah. But in your case, and you're ranked so high for their exact terms, you'd think they'd make an exception and try to work out a deal with you. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I tried everything I could think of, but they just, I don't know, just kind of went dark. So I'm just promoting other products.
So your next option was to look at their competitors and say, okay, how can I recover this? How can I not, have this site or nothing? Let me see what I can add. So you start adding some competitive products and training courses and start getting back on track, basically.
Yep, I basically saw what was selling well on ClickBank, started testing out a few of those, found a couple that started doing really well, and then added reviews for those products as well. So yeah, it kind of turned out okay. And if they ever switch that affiliate program back on, the site's going to make a lot more than it does now.
Yeah.
So
how long did it take for you to do that transition? Like, did you go down for a month or two, or was it like just a week or two? Like, how long were you scrambling to turn the juice back on?
It wasn't too much of a problem because they did give a good bit of notice, to be fair. They gave 45 days notice. So, I had 45 days notice, and then there was like a 30-day cookie and all the traffic that's sent through. So there wasn't really a dip where I was scrambling to find replacements. The revenue did dip back in February when they shut the program off, obviously.
Yeah.
But, since I've started promoting other offers, found a few, kind of winners in the summer, I would say. I tested out a few for a while, but the ones I'm running on there now have been on there for almost 6 months.
Cool.
And, remain pretty steady. And the main one has actually just added some pretty cool upsells and recurring sales as well. So I'm hoping to start seeing those kick in pretty soon.
Nice, man. Well, let's talk traffic and earnings. Now, I know most of the site's traffic is organic, but do you have any kind of paid traffic going right now, or do you get any significant like referral, direct, or social traffic?
No. I mean, the basic social profiles are set up, Facebook page and things like that, but I've not really done anything with anything outside of SEO at all. So there's no paid traffic. The site does collect email addresses, but again, email marketing is not really something I'm that familiar with. So if anyone, comes in with a knowledge of that space and how to monetize a list, again, you could definitely bring returning traffic back to the site through that.
What's the platform and how many subscribers do you have?
So the platform I was using was MailChimp, and it's getting about, I haven't checked for a while, but I would say 10 to 15 subscribers a day. And it's just over 500 at the moment. So that was something I added fairly recently. The only problem was I added MailChimp, and then after a couple of weeks, they sent an email saying, oh, you can't promote affiliate stuff through MailChimp. So you're going to have to find a new provider.
Really?
So yeah, they said, I actually don't know. They just referred me to the terms and conditions, and they said certain types of affiliate stuff is not allowed, and they wouldn't really talk to me any more than that. But basically, if anyone comes in with knowledge of how to build and monetize an email list, there's an exit pop on there at the moment that collects them, and that's just something I've not touched at all. So definitely a good opportunity.
Cool. Okay, that's interesting. Tell me a little bit about the earnings history. I mean, is it stable? Is it, up 1 month, down the next? What's it look like?
Yeah, so it's pretty, we're obviously speaking now at the beginning of January. So in the last week or so, it's definitely seen a considerable increase where it's making, probably 3 times what it normally makes. But over, since the summer, the earnings have been pretty stable. So I would say there's, kind of fluctuations of maybe couple $100 each month either way, but it's pretty consistent.
So the site generally be bigger in December, January, February, maybe March, and then kind of, leveling out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so that's definitely what happened last year. January was, super successful, and into February too. And then it's kind of a little bit of you kind of get a little bit of a peak in traffic as well for a lot of these keywords I'm looking at as you kind of get towards the summer and everyone kind of wants to get beach ready or whatever. So yeah, and then the rest of the year is pretty stable.
Talk to me a little bit about the keywords you're ranked for. Is the majority of that organic traffic coming from like less than 10 keywords, or are we talking, the majority of the traffic, more than half of it's coming from like 100 plus keywords?
Yeah, there's definitely a wide range of keywords, and that's the reason for that is the way that I build out the reviews and the content for each kind of review is a little bit unique, and it allows the site to kind of cast a very wide net in terms of the keywords it brings in, with a lot of long tails that you wouldn't find in a keyword planner. So some of the stuff you see in like Webmaster Tools, for example, is you think, oh, I'd never even thought of that, but I'm actually ranking for it. And the reason for that is what I'll basically do when I create, a piece of money content, so like a review article or whatever, I'll create the main product review, and that covers the product name keywords, the review keywords. But then I'll basically create maybe 4 or 5 other shorter posts that would all kind of link into that main review, and they'll cover like very specific subjects about the program. So if it's a weight loss program, it would be an article about the workouts and exercises, an article about the recipes, maybe an article about the author, things like that.
Yeah.
And have all these basically linked together. And that allows you to just bring in, like I said, a whole range of long tail keywords for people that are researching the product that you just would have never thought of.
That's cool. It sounds like a cool way to sculpt your on-site SEO. One of the things that buyers are going to want to know is, can you break it down, to them in, more than 30 seconds? Like they want to make sure that you're able to pass that over to them so they can take that skill and continue rolling with it since it's been working for the site. Let's talk a little about offsite SEO. Now, originally when you built the site, you did include some PBN links. What have you done for the site in terms of offsite SEO since you've created it?
Sure. So the site has, a handful of guest posts that I'd purchased through a few services, a handful of PBNs, but other than that, there hasn't been a lot of offsite. And like I said before, I never really got into the PBN game. I found it, I just couldn't get my head around the hosting and the management and all that kind of thing. So what I basically found was that the domain is able to rank, for a lot of stuff just based on its natural strength. And as number one, and two, like the on-page SEO strategy that I just described with, interlinking and creating multiple articles around one kind of main topic allows the site to bring in a lot of traffic without much in the way of offsite. So for the last few months, for example, I haven't really been working on the site at all, and I haven't built any links. And, gradually the traffic is kind of increasing or staying stable.
Tell me, how much content is on the site today? Like how many pages of content? How long are the average articles, that kind of thing?
I would say, off the top of my head, I believe it's between 60 and 70 articles on the site. Now, as they kind of vary in length. So if I'm writing a review or having a review written, when I used to get those done, they'd be pretty long. So they'll be like between 1,500, 2,000 words, something of that length. And then everything else would be, maybe 500-600 word posts that would be, targeting long tails or supporting those main articles. So yeah, I would say about 65 at the moment, I think.
Cool. Okay. I think I got a pretty good grasp on the site. I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of moving parts here. It's pretty easy to understand, I think. Okay. So let's talk opportunities. If you wanted to grow this site, if you were keeping it, you're going to grow it out for the next 2, 3, 5 years. What path would you take? What would you do to build this site out?
Sure. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities with, first of all, the most straightforward one is just programs that are not on there at the moment. So if you think, Beachbody, for example, like there's no Beachbody reviews on there. So Beachbody is like Insanity, P90X, Shakeology, all the Shaun T stuff, like at least a dozen of the best-selling fitness programs ever.
Yeah.
None of those reviews are on there. They have their own affiliate platform that you can sign up to. I've never signed up for those, so I've just stuck to ClickBank. So that's definitely a big opportunity. The other one is Amazon. So
hold on real quick. So just to break that down. So really you're saying two things. Number one, you can expand it to do more reviews, right? So you can do more reviews on ClickBank, you can do more reviews anywhere. And then the second thing you're saying there is go after the big dogs, right? The ones that have their own affiliate programs that are off ClickBank. Go after those and start adding some of the bigger players and targeting, like going up the value chain in terms of, how much money you can make and the opportunity.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, there's a lot of big name programs that are not on there, and there's even some ClickBank programs that are not on there that do pretty well.
Was your reasoning there
So
to go after the smaller ones because you figured, well, I'm not competing with like the major affiliates in the space. If I can be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, and that'll help my SEO. I'll get ranked better, and I can reap the profits and rewards. Is that what you're thinking?
no, I stuck with ClickBank one because the top selling stuff on there. If you go by gravity and things like that, if you can get traffic, it's going to convert. So that stuff's pretty competitive, and the site does pretty well in that space. To be honest, the reason I haven't signed up for Beachbody is slightly annoying, and this is not going to affect a buyer if they're in the US. To sign up to the Beachbody affiliate program, you need to be a US citizen with like social security and all that, which I need to verify.
Oh, yeah.
And as you can probably tell, I'm not from the US. So I literally cannot get an account. So
That's irritating.
that's basically the reason that I've not signed up to Beachbody affiliate program, and they don't have any leeway on that.
All right, cool.
So
So there's some opportunity there. I see that. What else would you say? I mean, that basically involves like adding content, doing more reviews, and basically following your on-site SEO process. And also, as an American or non-American, basically signing up for some of these non-ClickBank offers that you can bank on. So looking kind of like up the value chain, going after the ones that are more popular and seeing if you can rank and get traction and get sales in those too. What other opportunities do you see?
yeah, sure. So Amazon definitely the Amazon earnings at the moment come from a handful of very basic reviews of fitness equipment. So things like home gym equipment and basically things that sell for a couple of $100 on Amazon. So you don't need to sell many of them to do well. If someone was to build out that side and maybe pick a list of like the 50 top selling products in certain fitness categories on Amazon, the site will tend to rank pretty well for product name and product name review keywords just based on the domain strength I've
Yeah.
found. And I do believe I've also had a number of review articles written that I haven't actually added to the site yet, just because I haven't really had the time to do so. So I can actually include those with the sale. There is some new content ready to go for Amazon stuff.
That's interesting. With 90% of your earnings coming from ClickBank, very few from Amazon, it's unproven, right? It's unproven as to whether that would work or not. But if you could get it working, there's plenty of opportunity. So if you turn into an Amazon affiliate site and then you find some particular products that are working, you could even start sourcing that and do an Amazon FBA. You could start selling it direct. I mean, there are some options there that become really interesting. You'd have to test it out, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk about risks. I mean, the big one, the elephant in the room, I mean, especially with any site that's getting organic traffic, mostly organic traffic, is Google changes the game, right? So they come in and penalize you. They come in and, just change your rankings 1 month or 1 year, and your rankings go away and you lose traffic. So that's a clear one. That's a big one. What other risks or worries do you have for the site? If you were keeping it, what are some things that you would try to mitigate over the next couple of years?
The main one would be to avoid what happened to me last year, which would be, instant switching off of a program. So, I would definitely work out how to get the Beachbody programs on there, because those programs are possibly even a better fit for a lot of the traffic that's coming to the site than what I'm promoting now, because they're all based on, high intensity workouts and things like that. So, Beachbody gives you opens up a lot of really solid programs where you're not just, relying on one that could go down. So definitely look for some other offers to promote that are converting well for the traffic. That would be the first one. The second risk.
So the first one is you want to diversify away against one particular monetization method. So if you're even if you're banking, even if you're crushing it with one particular affiliate, you may want to diversify that to where if you lost that affiliate, it wouldn't crush the site, it wouldn't crush your earnings. You can rely on other other things, so you're not running around trying to switch out the affiliate programs. I can see that must have been pretty stressful. Like, oh my god, these guys are killing me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's just I guess it's just part of the risk. But yeah, you just never think it's going to happen to you, basically, and then it does. So
yeah, tell me a little bit about the work that you do on the site on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Like, what are you doing regularly?
Okay, so literally for the last few months, I added another review about 2 weeks ago that I just paid for a while back. Other than that, I do not touch it at the moment. I've decided, I'm selling off the site. I'm working on a lot of projects outside of SEO. So it's literally been on autopilot for at least the last 3 months. If you go back maybe, to the summer when I was adding content and things like that, I would basically add, a couple of articles a month, whether they be review articles or supporting articles, which I mentioned earlier. I can definitely share where I used to get the content written and basically how I used to do, describe what they needed to do and things like that. But, it's definitely straightforward, and any kind of competent writer that anyone's already using will be able to fulfill that.
Cool. So you think if someone want to maintain this, year over year, maybe do one, maybe two new reviews a quarter. That's kind of like the long form content. And then a couple of supporting articles for each of those. And then maybe one or two for some of the older review pages. Do you think that would kind of be enough to maintain and grow the site over the course of a year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would definitely grow it for sure. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely give some guidance on what I would do in terms of the specific programs that I would add. The other thing as well is you could definitely diversify outside of just kind of fitness or just kind of weight loss into all kinds of other areas of health. So, I mean, the last couple of weeks, I've started seeing stuff pop up on ClickBank, all kinds of stuff about, diabetes and, loads of other health related topics that are not necessarily related specifically to workouts. And it looks like a lot of those are converting pretty well. So, taking a dive into something like that, you could definitely create, a whole different income stream from the site that's not workout related.
Awesome. All right, man. Let me ask you some additional questions that buyers that are listening may have as well. So, you said you're going to get into e-commerce. I know that you have some cash needs, so this cash will be able to inject that into the new business and grow that. One of the concerns buyers has is they don't want you to take the cash, turn around, start competing with them on day two. So are you willing to commit to a non-compete, particularly targeting these programs as these affiliates for some, a set period of time?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, I'm not really invested in SEO currently. So yeah, 100%.
Cool. And then how much support are you willing to offer buyers? So, for me in particular, and listen to this, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but I have some questions about how you did the on-site SEO. I'd have questions about the off-site SEO providers you used. And then I'd have questions about the different affiliate programs. I'd want to understand those better, kind of like soak up your knowledge on that. Those things you'd be able to pass on to the buyers. That's something you'd be willing to do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whatever they require in terms of calls or maybe like a plan of attack or something for the next 3 months or however long, really whatever they want. I obviously want them to, I want it to be a smooth handover, and any questions I'm more than happy to help out with, and basically just give them the blueprint for what I've done and what I would continue to do if I was to keep it.
Cool. All right. Now, obviously for you and for us, the best thing you get is 100% cash offer. Hey, here's the deal. Let's get it done. And we're out. If someone came along though and they said, "Look, I just want to make sure, Ryan, that I'm going to get trained on this. I'll pay Empire Flippers. I'm happy to have you paid out 70% up front and then 30% or the other 30% after 30 days of training." Is that something you'd be open to?
Yeah, definitely. I'd not actually considered that as an option when I first submitted to the site, but yeah, after kind of thinking about it, yeah, there's no issue with that whatsoever.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Some buyers, they want to make sure they get the training, and that's kind of the leverage they can hold. Or not really for this site, and definitely not in this price range, but like, let's say the mid 6-figure sites, they'll want to do some kind of earn out. So maybe 20, 30, or even 40% of the site, the sale price is based on some kind of earn out based on profit or based on the success of the site. I don't think you're going to get this in the mid 5-figure range, but you will see it maybe on a $400,000 or $500,000 or larger site. So you'll see that. But on the 5-figure sites, there's normally enough interest to where someone's just going to buy it outright or pretty close to it.
Sure.
All right, man. So let's do a quick wrap up on the site. The niche, as we said before, is health and fitness. It was built in June 2014. Monthly revenue is right around $2,000 a month. You have expenses of $29 a month, so net profit just under $2,000 a month. Built on WordPress, and we're listing this on a 26x multiple. Ryan, if you could give me your best pitch over the next 30 seconds on why someone should purchase this site, what would that be?
It's basically, a strong domain that picks up rankings pretty easy without a lot of offsite. If you were to follow the process I've already followed and maybe include, some skill sets that you have with offsite SEO, I definitely think you can, one, bump up the current keyword rankings very easily, and two, start promoting a lot of other new products and fitness programs and things like that, and increase the earnings pretty easily if you were to put some effort into it, for sure.
Cool. All right, listener, if you're listening to this, you're interested in finding out more information about this listing, let's say you're on YouTube or some other site, you can click on the link in the show notes or down below, and it'll take you over to listing 40353 on Empire Flippers. If you're on empireflippers.com, you're on the listing and you're listening to this interview, and you want all the details, including the URL, including all the traffic and earnings history, you can go up to the top right-hand corner, click on deposit, and pay a 100% refundable deposit to get all that information to help you in making your buying decision and going through the due diligence process. Again, Ryan, I just want to thank you for coming on here. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Perfect. Thank you very much.